Good evening. You are tuning in to Awani Tonight with me, Cynthia Ng. Be fair to all parents. Give equal citizenship rights to Malaysian mothers and fathers. And no more states in Phase 1 as Klang Valley, Melaka and Kedah transitions into next phase. That's coming up. Starting Friday, the Klang Valley and Melaka will move into Phase 3 of the National Recovery Plan, while Kedah will move from Phase 1 to Phase 2 on the same date, which will see all states nationwide moving out of Phase 1. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the transition was made after taking into account the current risk assessment by the Health Ministry and the National Security Council. The Pandemic Management Special Committee meeting today also decided to allow vaccinated spectators into sports stadiums with conditions. The Prime Minister also announced that the skills and industrial training sector will be allowed to resume nationwide. Datuk Seri Azalina Othman has called on the government to be fair to all Malaysian parents when granting citizenship to children born overseas. The Pengerang MP questioned the government's plan to continue appealing against a court ruling that would grant automatic citizenship to overseas-born children of Malaysian mothers and foreign fathers.
Kalau kita nak berlaku adil, saya nak cakap pada Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri dan juga sahabat-sahabat menteri, berlakulah adil kepada semua. Kalau ibu tak dapat, bapa pun jangan bagi. Kenapa ibu tak boleh, bapa boleh? Ini saya tak faham. Seolah-olah wanita di Malaysia ni adakah banyak kurangnya daripada lelaki di Malaysia? Itu pulanglah pada kerajaan untuk jawab.
In defending the appeal, Home Minister Datuk Seri Hamzah Zainuddin said it was necessary to avoid contempt of court while upholding the federal constitution. He added that the government was exploring the possibility of amending the constitution, which require assent from the Conference of Rulers. Under the constitution, Malaysian fathers are given automatic rights to confer citizenship to their children born overseas to foreign mothers, while Malaysian mothers must apply for citizenship to their children born overseas to foreign fathers.
Azalina called out Putrajaya for the delay in establishing special courts for sexual crimes against children. She said the facility is urgently needed with the rise of abuse cases involving children during the pandemic.
Itu sebab kita nak mahkamah khas, bilik saksi khas, adanya pendekatan khas. Ni anak-anak yang menjadi mangsa. Ini dengan COVID. Berapa banyak kes anak-anak didera di rumah? Berapa kes anak-anak menjadi mangsa jenayah? Nak bawa ke mana? Kalau setakat nak jadi menteri, ini pun tak boleh selesai, tak payahlah jadi menteri.
Azalina revealed in the Dewan Rakyat today that the government in 2017 had agreed to set up specialized courts in every state to handle cases involving sexual abuse against children. But despite the approval given by the administration when she served as law minister, nothing has been done since. Special courts with sessions judges specialized in laws regarding children would fast-track cases of sexual offences against children, provide special witness rooms for children to testify safely, and spare them from tedious processes at regular criminal courts.
The police refuted claims that 2 students have died after getting COVID-19 vaccinations. Perak Police Chief Commissioner Datuk Mio Farid Al-Atrash Wahid said while it was true that 2 students from SMK Tasik Damai had died, their deaths were not related to the vaccine. He said 1 female student had died on July 18th after being positive for COVID-19. She had underlying health problems and was already in critical condition in the hospital for 2 months, while another male student died on September 17th from a heart attack. He added that the vaccination program for teenagers only started on September 20th. Those who pre-registered to be automatic voters will be able to check the status of their registration from October 1st to 31st. The Election Commission will be putting up information of the 5.8 million would-be voters on public display so that they will be able to do the verifications.
Checking pre-registration of automatic voters can be done through the MySPR SPPA application at mysprsPPA.spr.gov.my. They can also visit 604 SPPA verification centres available nationwide and scan their voting constituencies using the QR code there. Meanwhile, Malaysian citizens aged 18 and above who have not been registered as voters can verify their details or file an objection before their automatic registration.
Sabah is unlikely to continue the trend of holding simultaneous elections for its parliamentary and state seats. Chief Minister Datuk Seri Hajiji Noor said this is because the Gabungan Rakyat Sabah, chaired by him, intends to serve the full 5 years of the mandate. Unlikely for him to seek a dissolution of the State Assembly should the federal government go for snap elections, which many political observers believe may happen next year. He said this to reporters at the Sabah government first-year anniversary celebration event today. Sabah has had simultaneous state elections the last 4 general elections, but the Warisan-led government called for snap polls last year following an attempted coup by former Chief Minister Tan Sri Musa Aman. Hajiji's Gabungan Rakyat Sabah coalition won the election. Tourism activities and attractions can resume operations in Sarawak beginning this Friday, subject to SOPs. This follows the announcement that Sarawak's southern zone would join the rest of the state in Phase 3 of the National Recovery Plan on the same day.
The Sarawak Tourism, Arts and Culture Ministry said permitted activities included accommodation in hotels and homestays, sports and recreation activities and ecotourism. Museums and galleries are also allowed to operate, so as spas, reflexology and massage centres. All tourists must also be fully vaccinated. Meanwhile, MOTAC has clarified that interstate travel for tourism activities is only permitted for the Langkawi Tourism Bubble Programme. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob had said that the opening of tourism centres, islands as well as cross-state travel would be allowed provided the country's adult population vaccination rate reached 90%.
We will take a short break. Stay with us.
The world's more complicated now.
We need someone to inspire us again.
Ayuh keluarga Malaysia, kita bulatkan tekad dan bersatu hati untuk terus memelihara serta mempertahankan kedaulatan negara. Sebagai keluarga Malaysia yang besar, kita harus bertoleransi dalam semua perkara. Hormat menghormati serta mengekalkan perpaduan rakyat yang berbilang kaum, agama dan bangsa serta integrasi nasional silang budaya adalah tunjang kekuatan kita sebagai sebuah negara bangsa yang berjaya. Umpama selembar benang dikait, ditenun dan dijalin, akhirnya menjadi kain yang sempurna indah.
Ayo kita zahirkan impian bersama.
Welcome back. Former Foreign Minister Fumio Kishida won Japan's ruling party leadership race, a victory that will put him on course to become the next Prime Minister. Kishida will succeed Yoshihide Suga, who decided to step down after just 1 year in office. Kishida's first mission as Prime Minister will be to lead the ruling Liberal Democratic Party to victory in an upcoming general election due within 2 weeks. The party saw a drop in popularity after it pushed to host the Tokyo Olympics despite public opposition. Kishida defeated popular vaccination minister Taro Kono to win the position. Given the LDP's majority in parliament, Kishida's position as Prime Minister has been all but cemented. Kishida has long targeted the Prime Minister role, losing out to Suga in last year's election. The new PM faces a range of tough issues, including post-pandemic economic recovery and confronting threats from North Korea. Boxing star Manny Pacquiao announced that he is retiring from boxing to focus on the biggest fight in his political career. The only 8-division champion in the history of boxing is planning to run for president in the Philippine elections next year. In a video posted on Facebook, Pacquiao described retiring as the hardest decision of his life, adding that boxing had given him the chance to fight his way out of poverty. Growing up poor in the south of the Philippines, Pacquiao left for Manila as a teenager, where he started competitive boxing. He is regarded as one of the greatest professional boxers of all time, winning 12 different titles across 8 weight divisions, and is the only boxer to hold world championships across 4 decades. The 42-year-old's final fight was a defeat by Cuba's Yordenis Ugas in Las Vegas last month. Pacquiao was among the staunchest allies of Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte, backing the leader's bloody war on drugs and his bid to reintroduce the death penalty. But their political ties soured after Pacquiao criticized Duterte's friendly relationship with China and corruption in the government. In July, he was ousted as president of the country's ruling political party. Myanmar's currency has lost more than 60% of its value since the beginning of September. The collapse has driven up food and fuel prices in the country, facing an economic collapse since the military seized power 8 months ago.
The devaluation occurred despite its central bank's efforts to inject US dollars into the domestic market to shore up the kyat currency. The World Bank says Myanmar's economy would slump by 18% this year. It will also see the biggest contraction in employment in the region. Myanmar is struggling to deal with a second wave of COVID cases that started in June, made worse by the overstretched health system and ongoing civil unrest.
Nearly 10 days after eruption, lava from a volcano in La Palma, Spain, has reached the cold waters of the Atlantic Ocean, sending big clouds of steam and toxic gases into the air. Scientists are warning that the lava will threaten the island's rich biodiverse environment. Spain has declared the Canary Island of La Palma a disaster zone, warning residents to get out of the way more than a week after the eruption began. Residents were told to lock down and seal doors and windows with tape and wet towels to ward off toxic gases released as lava pours into the sea. Lava has been flowing down the volcano toward the ocean since September 19th, destroying almost 600 houses and banana plantations. Thousands of people have been evacuated and 3 coastal villages were locked down. Water resources are crucial for domestic, commercial and industrial use. But do we have a plan to manage them in the future? Tonight on Consider This, we ask water sector experts if the 12 Malaysia Plan identifies a way forward in better water management. That is all we have for you on Awani Tonight. Get the latest news updates on COVID-19 and COVID-19 vaccines from astroawani.com and Astro Awani app. I'm Cynthia Ng. Thank you for watching.